Thank you for your time here at the 80th IATA in Dubai. We're part of an interesting panel discussion. Can you share some of your insights?
I think the interesting thing is that we now all realize that not just the aviation industry itself could prosper without working closely with the tourism and travel sector about it. Well, obviously, aviation is part or a very big part of the whole tourism business. So I think we're now, to some extent, I think we're now going back to 30, 40 years ago when airlines just first started and they will want to promote certain destinations or routes. They will work with the tourism authorities so that they can promote it and so that there'll be more people traveling. And I think we are now also at a stage, particularly post-COVID, is that a lot of the travelers, their behaviors and their purpose of travel actually have changed. So, for example, people do want to travel, and I can see that this will go on for quite some time. The whole desire for travel. So there are now people talking about, are we going to be aware of like over tourism and so on? I think there's probably the case now in Europe, and in Europe. As far as I know, there are more discussions about how to direct or redirect these tourists to other places, not just focusing on a few iconic attractions. This is not yet sort of happening in Asia yet, but working together, I think the important thing is that you actually can see more people will be traveling, and also post-COVID, because of the technology and the digital advancement, traveling is becoming less painful. It's actually becoming easier when you go through the airport and immigrations and the borders. So people will choose to travel. The other thing I think we have to also take into account is when people travel, they're also working at the same time. And a lot of people now would want to have a job rather than a fixed location or fixed time, but they will be traveling at the same time, whether it's leisure, so business and leisure, So I think the good thing is that the whole aviation and tourism will grow hand in hand. The thing is that we need to manage and plan properly.
Hong Kong opened up a bit later, I think you said 14 months ago. Have you seen the numbers bounce back from pre-pandemic levels?
I think it's been bouncing back, progressively and I think healthily. I do not think personally that we should be instantly going back to 2018, 2019 level. I think it would take a bit of time because it would take time for the infrastructure, for manpower to sort of come back. In terms of the aviation airlines operating back into Hong Kong, it's now back up to 70+%. So which is, I think, after 14 months, which is a very, very good sort of progress. And I'm sure this will continue and go on. Then we would need to be more well prepared for the whole recovery. And then it's not just the recovery, it's also looking forward and looking ahead of what we need to curate a better experience for our new sort of generation of visitors.
And looking towards the future, what is Hong Kong Tourism Board's strategy to attract more tourists?
I think the first thing is that for Hong Kong, we are experiencing something quite different from the rest of the world. That we have an issue that people thought that Hong Kong looks very, very different. But in fact, we are safer than ever. We are having much more attractions for people to experience, the art, the culture, the green, the nature. So I think the important thing is that we want to attract people to come to see for themselves. So seeing is believing. So people coming to Hong Kong first, not just to Hong Kong, but also to this part of the world. There are now so much more to offer. I think what Asia would follow is like what happened in the rest of the world, is the first phase of recovery would be more on the short haul domestic front, then moving on to medium and longer haul. And I think the new trend would be for the travelers to then going for even further to more exotic destinations. So these would be all very much beneficial for all of us. And Asia, of course, has the largest travelers market potentially. both inbound and outbound. So the airline should be operating more flights to this part of the world.
Thank you very much for your time and all the best for the rest of the day.
Thank you.